welcome back to Let's Talk. I'm John, and today we're going to be talking about 2022's Nope, Jordan Peele's latest film. But before we dive into that, if you are a fan of film reviews, 4K Blu-ray reviews, TV reviews, video game reviews, maybe some tech reviews, we try and do them all here on the channel, and nothing helps out more than by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Nope was written and directed by Jordan Peele, was released on July 22nd, 2022, and is the third feature directed by Jordan Peele after Get Out and Us. And Jordan Peele has become one of my favorite directors of all time already, and he's only 3 movies into his directing career. Now, he was a famous comedian. He was one of the co-stars of Key and Peele, and he was on Mad TV, so most people never expected him to dive into the horror realm like he did. And not only has he dived into the horror realm, but he has directed some of the greatest horror movies that we've ever seen. Get Out was considered one of the greatest horror movies of the 2010s. It actually topped a lot of people's lists for the greatest horror movies of the 2010s. It was up there for me too, but actually I think that his second feature, Us, is actually better than Get Out. I truly love Us. I saw that in theaters 3 times, twice in the same day. I couldn't get enough of that movie. It was one of my favorites. I still go back and watch it all the time. To say that my expectations were high for Nope would be an understatement. When Jordan Peele's making a movie, I know that I'm going to get a deeper meaning out of it than just a regular on-the-surface horror movie. There's going to be some deep themes. You're going to have to do some investigating if you're going to get everything out of his films. And Nope is no different. So the basic plot of this movie is 2 siblings, one played by Daniel Kaluuya, OJ, and then his sister, Keke Palmer, who plays Emerald. They're a brother and sister. They are the son and daughter of Keith David's character, who owns a horse company called Hollywood Horses. Their great-great-grandfather, or great-great-great-grandfather, depending on the generation, was the man who was the black man who was jockeying the horse from the original, the first thing ever shot on film, The Horse in Motion. The original jockey that jockeyed that horse was their great-great-great-grandfather. So they make horses that they basically use in commercials and film. They use their horses, so they run a ranch. Essentially what happens is, early in the movie, Keith David, who is their father, he gets killed by some falling objects from the sky, but is believed to be from a plane. And now the 2 siblings take over the business. One doesn't really care for the business in Keke Palmer, and then the other one really wants to keep the business going in Daniel Kaluuya's character. Let me just start off out of the gate and just tell you that I really enjoyed this film. Now, is it my favorite Jordan Peele film? It's really too early to tell, because as I've thought about this movie since I've seen it, it's really grown and grown in my mind. I'm just trying to find the deeper meanings in this movie. But at the time when I first saw it, this is very much a sci-fi horror western. It is structured just like a western where, it's a lot of slow pacing in the beginning that builds up to a great third act, and this movie really does that perfectly. I really did enjoy the pacing of this film, but if you don't really realize that it's structured like a western, I could see people being a little upset at the slow pacing of the first 2 acts, because you need to build up to that third act, and the third act payoff doesn't work without that awesome pacing of the first 2 acts. But I'll admit, while I was watching it, the first 2 acts definitely did seem to drag in points, but I don't really think that that's too much of an issue. But I just can't right now say that this is better than Us or Get Out, but I still really did enjoy this film very much. It's beautiful, it's well acted, because Keke Palmer stole the show for me in this movie.
Yeah, skin in the game.
I didn't expect her to be this good. I really didn't. I loved her performance in this movie. Right now, it's really early in the year, and I know that the Academy would never recognize somebody from a horror movie, but right now she is one of my favorite performances of this year. And I've seen a lot of movies this year, but Keke Palmer just hit a home run with her performance. I loved it. I thought she did a phenomenal job playing this character who doesn't want to be a horse, who doesn't want to run this ranch with her brother. She has aspirations to get famous, to be a star. She looks at the horse ranch as her side job, where she looks as becoming an actress or a star as her main job, which is why what she does throughout this film makes a lot of sense for her character. Whereas Daniel Kaluuya's character is very content and just wants to maintain the family business that his father set out for him. But as we know throughout the film, I don't know how many guys how many of you have seen the trailers or anything like that, so I'm trying not to spoil anything yet. I just want to let you know my initial thoughts. I think that the way that this film is structured works very well with the story that they're trying to tell, and it's very well shot, and the screenplay is tight. There is plenty of deeper meanings in this, just like you would have imagined from a Jordan Peele movie. There is plenty in there. There's a lot of great other actors besides our two leads. Most famously, I'm sure, is Stephen Yen, and he plays Ricky Juke Park, and he's the guy who owns the carnival or the amusement park, the small amusement park that's in town that, is buying horses from the Hollywood Horse Ranch. And he plays his character very well as well. Actually, for him, he actually was a lot more comic relief than I was expecting from him. And he did a great job with his performance. He plays a former child star who's kind of dealing with some PTSD issues from when he was a child for something that happened on the set of a show he was working on. And now he owns this ranch. And now he wants to now he's just a real simple man. He's kind of living off, what he did as a child star, but he plays this character perfect. He was actually very funny, like I said. I really did enjoy his work. And another actor I want to bring up who did some great work is Brandon Perea. I have never seen him in anything before, but he was definitely the comic relief. Every time he was on screen, he was really funny. I really did enjoy his work as well. So I could definitely recommend this film for sure. If you're a Jordan Peele fan, I could definitely tell you to go run out to the theaters. If you're a horror fan, I can tell you to go run out to theaters. But if you're just a fan of film, I could tell you to go run out to theaters because this is such a well-made film. I saw this in Dolby Atmos. I think you should try and find the best and biggest screen you can find to see this on. It's going to look beautiful on 4K when we eventually get there. I can't wait. I'll be a day one purchaser of that. Now, I just want to talk a little bit of the themes, so this is going to be light spoilers about the film. I tried to avoid as many as I can, but there is some things I would like to talk about in this video, and I'm going to talk about that now, so this is your spoiler warning. So, I feel like the deeper themes in this film, for most Jordan Peele films, they have a deeper meaning. We know that this film is following an unidentified object, or a UFO, an unidentified flying object, a UFO. That is the big thing in this movie. That's what they're trying to figure out. As far as a UFO story, I thought that this was a very good one and a very unique and original story that you wouldn't expect to see from this kind of movie. This, like I said, is a sci-fi horror western, and I think that they leaned into it in a very unique way. Not what you're expecting. This is not an Independence Day movie. Like I said, this is a western, so it's actually a very condensed and small story, and I think it worked well. But what really worked well, I think, is Daniel Kaluuya's character. Like I said, he doesn't have the flashier performance compared to Keke Palmer's character, but what he is playing, and this is what I was trying to understand, and after me and my wife talked about this last night, we think that he might be autistic. Because one of the big themes in this is that, you don't want to look into somebody's eyes, and you could see early in the movies that he is having a hard time communicating with people. He might have just bad social anxiety. It might not even be autism, but he has a hard time looking into other people's eyes. He needs help communicating. His sister helps him to communicate with other people because he just does not feel comfortable doing that. And we know that this ship, or whatever it is, I don't want to spoil that this ship doesn't want to, that he believes that if he doesn't look into the ship's eye, that it won't go after him and it won't go after anybody else. And I do think that that's dealing with the deeper theme of autism and everything like that. That's what I got out of that. Another big deep theme that I was getting out of this is that the one thing that they're trying to do is get this on picture. So they get a director to help them. The problem is that this UFO, actually it's not a director, it's a cinematographer. So they want him to shoot this because the biggest thing is you could never get a UFO on film. So this UFO, when it's in a certain area, it shuts down all electronics. In 2022, everything is run on electricity. That's another thing that they're trying to bring up, is that so they take these IMAX cameras that are like hand cranked that doesn't run on electricity to get it because it can't knock out the electric on that. So I think that's another thing they're talking about, is that maybe Jordan Peele's love for film, like everything is shot digitally now, so instead, we used to just shoot on film where everything didn't need to run on electricity. There was always a way. And, it's the same thing like how we talk about physical media. If the internet goes down, you can't watch anything, but we collect Blu-rays here, so we always have something to watch. But of course, without electricity, we ain't watching anything. But I think that was another thing, and also about people's need for fame. People's need to be, famous and loved and everything like that. Because Keke Palmer's character really wants to get this on film. She really wants to capture this because that is going to solve all their problems. And I think a lot of people are always looking for that, quick viral hit. And I think this movie is trying to show you that, people are willing to do anything to get the respect that they think that they deserve. and I think they did an awesome job with that. I do think those are the deeper themes that I was getting out of the film. At least on my first watch, I only saw this in the movies once, so it's really hard for me to break it down. I'll definitely get a better look at it when it comes to 4K, but after watching it for the first time, those were like the deeper themes that I was in there, but I don't want to spoil the story. I'm just saying, so if you go into that, try and look for those things, see if I'm right, come back in the comment section below and tell me, did you feel that watching this, or was there something I was completely missing? Like, I love to talk about Jordan Peele movies. For years we'll be discussing what he was trying to tell us in this movie, and I think he did an amazing job. So that's the end of the spoiler section, so now we'll dive back into what I want to rate this film and tell you if you should go see it. So, like I said, this is only the first time I have seen Nope. I try and see all of Jordan Peele's movies in the theaters at least twice, because I think that going in after seeing it once, knowing what the story is, really does add to the experience, and I will definitely try and see this in Dolby Atmos again before it leaves theaters. If not, I will be grabbing this 4K and I'll do a full breakdown on there. So anyway, what would I rate Nope out of 10? I would say that this is a solid 8.5 out of 10. Now that could rise, that rating could rise over the years, but right now, first rating, 8.5 out of 10. I really had a great time at the theaters. I thought that this was a fun sci-fi horror western. I think you're going to have a great time. Even if you don't look for the deeper meanings, this is still a very entertaining horror film, and I think you're going to enjoy yourself. It's definitely a summer horror film, which I really do appreciate, especially since when I walked in that theater getting blasted in the face with the air conditioning, nothing felt better, and I really had a great time. I think you're going to have a great time too. So let us know in the comments section below, what did you guys think of Nope? Is this your favorite Jordan Peele movie? Is it Get Out, or is it Us? Or is it any of them? Let us know in the comments section below, and while you're down there, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends.